So this episode here at Fort Peck, Montana, we wanted to really dial in the lake trout. Now, if you know me at all, you know that I really love to fish for lake trout. You know, I've fished them all over the country, all over Canada, and they're one of those fish for me that I just love chasing them. They're always pretty hard to catch, but once you figure out a pattern, it's usually game on. When we came up here the first time, we were coming here to chase Lakers, Louie and I, and we caught one lake trout. I mean, we got our butts kicked. So we were hoping for some sweet redemption. Lake trout are finicky. You know, you can try a lot of different things. I have a ton of different tricks for lake trout at this point in my life. And I got my Uncle Rod here with me, him and I learned lake trout fishing together, 30 years ago. So I feel like we got the right things in our corner to make this happen, but you still never know. Fish flash with a 2.5 spin fish behind it. We're putting tuna in the spin fish. The white colors seem to be doing the trick, and that's what we're going to start with. It's a nice Laker. I'll let these in catching. What we're doing here, this is a very up and down place. Like the contour is so hard to follow. You can see the ledges and stuff, but so what happens is I call out the numbers, 60 feet, Louie drops down, I tell him when there's a fish. When there's a fish, he drops in, and then most of the time, if that lake trout's in the right spot, he hooks them up. So it's a team operation. So we're watching the contour, calling out the depths, and then Rod and Louie are on the back constantly adjusting the downer, just constantly adjusting the cannons, until they're in the right zone. And we figured out with the fish flash and the spin fish, we can be about 4 or 5 feet right off the bottom, and that's where those fish are eating. Get him! He's unstoppable.
You can't keep him off.
Well, we had 2 of those. Unfortunately, we only have...
You know what? I won't say nothing about the guy that's catching fish that lost the other one.
I'll change plugs.
You can't,
I'll change.
You can't say I'm not going to say nothing, but then actually
I'll
say
change
something.
colors of fish and show them that it has nothing to do with the color of the fish.
Good set. Big.
You can have this.
No.
No, you can have the spin fish. You can have the spin fish.
Look.
You can't have the poo-poo plug.
Same size.
You can't have the poo-poo plug, but you can have the spin fish.
Yeah, no, that's like that mark, right? Like the mark looked like such a big fish.
Oh, that was fat. Look at it. Look at the gut on that thing.
Come on, digging, get digging.
Go over there. Let's have a real.
You guys are like within what 8 feet of each other though, and there's four fish flash and 1 rooster troll there's 4 fish flash and 1 rooster troll within like 10 feet of each other. I mean, it's just like a disco ball down there. Those fish are coming from everywhere. Oh. We're working, right? Like we're filming a fishing show, and there are just certain things that we have to get done, and we got to fish a certain way. And Rod is just obsessed with jigging for lake trout. He loves it. He loves the jig for lake trout. I think I came up with a way to get Rod his lake trout on a jig. It's a little unconventional, but I think it's gonna work. If you're a fan of the show, you know I like to do stupid things. So these fish, these big lake trout, are coming to the fish flash. These fish flash, you can see them on the fish finder, every time one of these fish flash gets close, they just come right to it. So we wanted to catch them on hookup baits. So what we did is we hooked the release right on the back of the fish flash, and then the hookup bait about 6 or 8 feet behind that, hooked really lightly. And we're moving about a mile an hour. As soon as we see a mark, they start coming to that. We pop these loose and they swim down. As soon as those hookup baits swim down, boom. He is falling it. Look at this, you can see the jigs right there, boom, boom. The hookup baits. He's on it. Somebody pulled it away from him.
Is that you going to the bottom?
Yeah,
No.
who's going to the bottom?
The fish went down and got away from it.
Okay, good, that's perfect.
If he starts following, I should have reeled it away from him. But as soon as I unhooked it, I started reeling.
Nice, and then it just came and ate it.
Yep.
Yes, love it when a plan comes together.
You gotta go. Look at that, Louis. That's what I'm talking about. Look
Just
at that.
taking line. Look at that.
I think I had a bump. too.
Hookup
Yeah.
baits. Louis, oh no, that's rods of fish.
On the way up, I think I had a bump.
Yeah, they chase it. That's how you get them. The
They
cat and
came
mouse.
right to the fish flash too. You can see them on the fish finder. As soon as they came up, they just came right to the fish flash.
Yep.
Look at the water, it's all murky here.
Good plan.
Like we're in a murky.
Before I was just letting it sink and they just ignore it. But it's the cat and mouse thing with the Lakers. You got to try to pull it away from them, then they chase it and grab it. He's just tearing me up.
Wow, what a difference in size.
Here comes
Feel bubble.
comes the bubbles. See, they have an ability to burp. Most fish don't. Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, it's a big one. That's a big one. That's the biggest
He's
Laker
doing the
we've
old
caught.
roll.
Yeah, he's wrapped up.
Yeah, that's a big one. He's doing the old lake trout roll. Might need a heavier leader.
Yeah, be careful.
This is a 15-pounder.
Yeah, that's a big fish.
There it is.
Woo! Yes!
First fish of the trip for me.
Just chomp the hook up. We got Rod and Louie kind of back in the workstation, and I'm up front working the electronics, keeping everything on task. And those guys in the back, I'm fully confident they can run all the gear all the time. I know things are running right. I know things are getting taken care of where they need to be, and all I have to do is keep them in the strike zone on the fish. Yeah, gold comes through in a pinch. Not really a pinch. Feel good? How's it feel? Like a Laker?
Yeah, he doesn't feel like a giant, but it's kind of hard to tell. Might be one of those 10, 12 pounders.
Yeah.
Nice fish. Big guts on them, man. They're fatter than they're long. Big girth on them.
Oh my God. Had them up about twice and just took them right back down to the bottom. That's one of the cool things about catching Lakers in somewhat shallow conditions. You know, that fish was in 50 feet of water. They just fight and fight and fight. Had on.
Yeah. Almost net ready. Oh, 15 pounds, 14, 15. Hook already came out.
Back down.
Much bigger than that other one that I caught yesterday.
See you, partner. Catching lake trout with a fish flash and a spin fish. Now, one of the things we've done here is we went with a medium size fish flash. We haven't seemed to notice too big a difference on the color. We've been going with the big chromers, using a chartreuse one once in a while. But what we have done is we've downsized the spin fish a little bit. We're actually using a 2.5 spin fish on these. I think it's what these fish are keyed into size-wise. They're eating Cisco. For whatever reason, the 2.5 version is what's getting them. Now we're putting a little bit of tuna in there. We're putting some worm in there. All you gotta do is just pack this in with whatever bait you're using, a little scent, put it back together. The stock hooks and leader have been working great. Now what we're doing is we're running this setup back behind the downrigger about 50 feet. We're watching the fish finder. We're going in and out of the bumps. As soon as we see a mark, we drop all of our gear down to keep it at 5 feet off the bottom. Now once that gear is 5 feet off the bottom, we run it, and we're catching almost all these marks, which is crazy. We've got one on this side that's the same size fish flash, but it's a rainbow trout color that's doing really good. And the color on this size has been the gold with the orange back to it. Now, one of the important things about this whole setup is you want a long, medium action rod. That's what we got here. Long, medium action allows you to have a lot of that slack picked up right away as soon as you go to set the hook. I like a nice low profile line counter reel, so we know what we're doing. Braided line down to a fluorocarbon leader, and that's basically it. Just pounding on the Lakers here. Super aggressive and fun way to fish for these fish. There's a lot of pinnacles that run out in this lake, and so if you've got a couple guys that know how to run downriggers, you can just follow those contours, or you can put the cannons on bottom track and just follow that contour up and down, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. And look at that. I mean, the Laker fight, I mean, come on. Look at that thing. He just burned, yeah, he just had him to the boat. Just burned 50 feet of line off on me. And here we go. Oh, yeah, just a little teener. A little teeny tiner guy. He's not even worth netting.
He's fought above this weight.
Man. Outkicked his coverage.
Who's got the...
Well, I'm the smaller than average size, but you know what? We're getting them.
There's a fish right there. Yep, you're on him.
Yep.
Now, come here.
We caught that thing suspended at 30 feet. Now, what the hell is this gonna be? Laker?
Yeah, it's gotta be a Laker.
Suspended 30 feet, 70 feet of water, 30 feet deep on the downrigger. But pull this one in.
Holy shit. It's heavy. It's taking a lot. I got a weight on there. I was probably down 20 at least.
Oh, were you? Ooh. Oh, that's a spin fish.
Yeah,
that's that big spin fish.
Yeah, it's a big spin fish.
That's interesting.
I feel like a salmon the way he's...
Nah, look, I'm sure pretty sure it's a Laker. The way he's fighting. Oh, you gotta wait too. That's right.
Yeah. That was aggressive right there.
Yeah.
Could be a salmon.
Yeah. It's all the right makings for a salmon, really. Suspended.
Really jerking.
There you go.
Really jerking. It's not like a Laker feel. It's not. It doesn't feel like a Laker. I don't know what it is, but when he decides to go, it's really
I can
aggressive.
see why. It's a big fish, I can see that. Big fish, big Laker, I think. Yeah, it's the big old, wow. The catfish, catfish. A suspended,
That's awesome.
giant
Get it.
channel cat.
Net it.
What the? There's a new species of the spin fish and the fish flash. Oh my God.
That one.
Yeah.
That's a catfish. It's a catfish.
That's a
What
big
the hell?
Wait a minute.
That
That's
thing's like a
big
20-pound channel cat.
I love
That's the
that.
best fish of the trip. That's like species number 7. Oh my God, look at that thing. That thing's 20 pounds. Fish flash, spin fish for the win on the Channel Cats.
Hey,
Suspended.
DD's really good.
Fish flash and bombers, fish flash and spin fish. And you know, you get a big fish of the, you know, take one of those down, and it really could be anything except a catfish. Could it be a catfish? 60 feet of water, balls of Cisco everywhere. It's a catfish. A 20-pound freaking channel cat. Probably one of the coolest fish of the trip.
The last
Planer
thing you'd
board,
expect.
fish flash, spin fish, a 4.0 spin fish, suspended in 60 feet of water, down 20 feet, eating bait. You tell me that catfish aren't predators? I'll tell you, you're a liar.
That's the biggest catfish I've ever caught.
It's freaking massive.
I've got a bunch of big ones, but that's a good one.
Got it? Got it, Ron?
Yep.
Okay. What else we got? There you go. That is freaking awesome.
Nice cat. Boy, look at the proportions too. That guy is,
Here, hold him out just a little.
that's a real fish there.
Yeah. You know, we just really wanted to figure out the lake trout, and we did. You know, me and Rod and Louie just started putting stuff together, and it all just come together. We had a ton of big lakers here, and we found a spot, kind of by happenstance, but we found a spot that had some bigger lake trout in it. We caught them on jigs, we caught them on tailspin jigs, and we caught them on spin fish and fish flash. And the trolling for them was deadly. I mean, we could have caught as many as we wanted, and a lot of big fish. So just had a great time with the giant catfish. Not expecting that one. That's pretty cool.